Speak. Calm this boy.
Grandpa!
Yeah.
Can you tell me a story?
Yeah. Story. Yeah. Okay. Hey, you know what? No, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about when I was a detective.
Well, hello, Colonel Mustard. How have you been? I haven't seen you since high school.
Oh, Mrs. White. I've been alright. Except for the fact that I had to drop out of high school and take up this job after you failed me.
Hey, Mustard Buddy, we need you over here right now.
I'm sorry, I have to go over to Mrs. White.
Okay.
Here's your drink.
I didn't order a drink.
Don't worry about it. It's complimentary.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to wait at other tables now. I'll be back with your food.
Thank you.
So.
I found it just like this, collapsed. I didn't know what to do, so I just called you right away.
Yep. That is a dead body. Alright, well, it's gonna have to, let me just do some detective
Shouldn't you
work.
not drink that?
Oh, yeah, that was, you thought I was gonna drink it. That is a rookie mistake. No, I was just inspecting it. So, this is the murder weapon. Probably we'll take this over to the lab for some tests.
Good idea.
We do have a list of suspects already, so we'll get those done and find out who the murderer is, and not drink the murder weapon, because I wasn't. You thought I was. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll go get working.
All right. I want to know who did this.
Yeah, it is a dead body. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let's go.
Okay.
Colonel Mustard, what was your relationship with Mrs. White?
She was my chem teacher back in high school, and she failed me. So naturally, I tried to blow up her car, but I then subsequently failed because I didn't know anything about chemistry. But other than that, our relationship's been perfectly fine. We've enjoyed an amicable, if highly explosive, relationship over the years as neighbors.
Now, Miss Peacock, can you tell me anything about your relationship with Miss White? Was it good, bad? Were you friends?
Oh, it was excellent! We had book club together, afternoon tea. Generally, we had a lot of fun together, but I despise that woman. Sometimes during afternoon tea, I just wanted to take my knife and jab her right in the throat.
Oh, wait a minute. You wanted to stab her in the throat? You had thoughts about murdering your friend, Mrs. White? Can you elaborate on this?
Oh, often I had plotted to kill her, but nothing serious, and I never did anything.
You do know this is being recorded for police purposes, right, Miss Peacock? This is a police interrogation.
Oh, I just thought this was a National Geographic documentary about little baby seals.
Seals?
Yeah.
Miss Peacock, I don't really understand. Why would we call you in here for a National Geographic documentary about polar bears and seals? I don't even work for National Geographic.
Oh, I just thought y'all wanted me down here for a favor. You know, I would do anything for you, handsome young gentleman.
Thanks for coming in, Professor Plum. Can you tell me about Mrs. White? What'd you think of her?
Well, she wasn't a bad teacher. I mean, she was fine, but she never let me test the oxygen. I always wanted to just test the oxygen all the time, and she was like, no, but I thought it was fine. I wanted to do more chemistry, so I was like, oxygen, give me my oxygen. But she was always like, no more oxygen for you. So I just took it one day, and then she tried to kill me, so I almost murdered her just to get my oxygen.
Strauss.
Is that why you opened up Professor Plum's Oxygen Emporium? Because you loved oxygen so much?
Of course! I mean, oxygen is the best element. We literally breathe it every single day. The more oxygen we get in our bodies every day, the better. That's why I created my business. The more oxygen for all, the better.
Heavyweight boxing champ Nick Murphy here. Don't go anywhere.
Ahoy, Nick. Care for some Chips Ahoy?
I would love it.
Nay! Chips Ahoy. Taste the rainbow. Mr. Green, can you tell me about your relationship with Ms. White? You said something about omelets and cooking in the kitchen or something?
Yeah, she was a cool teacher. I mean, we were completely fine and everything was alright. I was trying to cook omelets in the kitchen and then, like, get that cream, you know, like ladies like a hella with the cheese on like mozzarella, and she just didn't like that. I gave her the smile sometimes, and she was like, no smiling, just make that sulfur hexafluoride. And I was like, no, I can't do that.
I hope you're enjoying our film, so just one quick word from our sponsors and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Come to Professor Plum's Oxygen Emporium today for the world-class oxygen. The best element is now.
Miss Carlo, can you please tell me about your relationship with your former chemistry teacher, Miss White?
Oh, Mrs. White. I haven't seen her in years. It's been a really long time, you know. We didn't really get along that well in the class, but, you know, how's she doing these days?
She died.
Oh, what color?
What color? What do you mean, what color?
What color did she dye her hair?
No, she passed away. She is dead.
Oh.
Alright, well, I'm all done conducting the interviews, and I found some interesting chemicals at all the suspects' houses. I found sodium carbonate at Colonel Mustard, Professor Plum, and Miss Peacock's houses of molarities 0.2 to 0.3, 0.05 to 0.15, and 0.3. And then at Miss Scarlett's house and Mr. Green's house, I found calcium chloride of molarities 0.05 to 0.15 and 0.2. So I'm going to have to send this over to the lab, see what results come up, and find out what the molarity of my murder weapon is. And once we know what the molarity of the murder weapon is, we can find out which of these guys is actually the murderer. So I'll send you over to my lab technician right now. Detective, with the help of my trusty lab technician, I think I have been able to determine your murder weapon, since I've been able to determine the molarity of the murder weapon itself. Alright, using your interview information, the murder weapon was known to be either sodium carbonate or calcium chloride, as these were the only substances found among the murder suspects. In order to determine which of these the murder weapon was, it was reacted with sodium carbonate and calcium chloride, as these two react to form a precipitate.
Alright, I am going to determine what substance is the murder weapon that I have here. It could either be CaCl2 or Na2CO3. Therefore, I'm going to place a small amount of murder weapon on each plate. And for safety reasons, I'm going to exchange this pipette for a new one. Here we are. I'm going to take a little bit of Na2CO3 and place it on the first plate with the murder weapon. Nothing seems to have happened, so I'm moving on to the next substance. Exchange the pipette for safety reasons. Take the CaCl2 and put it with the murder weapon. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. A precipitate has formed with CaCl2, meaning that the murder weapon is Na2CO3. This is a real home run.
A precipitate was formed when the murder weapon was reacted with calcium chloride. Therefore, it was known that our murder weapon was indeed sodium carbonate. Next, since we knew that sodium carbonate and calcium chloride react to form a precipitate, we could therefore determine the molarity of the murder weapon by reacting the murder weapon with excess calcium chloride. You can tell this gets me excited, Detective. I've enjoyed this case very much. Since the murder weapon was the limiting reactant, we could determine the moles of the murder weapon when reacting a certain volume of sodium carbonate with a certain volume in molarity and, in turn, moles of calcium chloride. You can see here the work that I've done to determine said molarity. We reacted 13.5 milliliters of an 0.25 molarity substance of calcium chloride. We reacted that with 2.5 milliliters of an unknown molarity of sodium carbonate.
Here we have 13.5 milliliters of 0.25 molarity solution of CaCl2. What I'm going to do is add that to 2.5 milliliters of Na2CO3, the murder weapon. Now, as we've learned, this will form a precipitate. I'm going to pour it through the funnel and wait for it to dry to find the mass of the precipitate that fills up the filter paper. Here we go. Wish me luck. Wow, a chemical reaction.
Ahoy!
Alright, it's been about 3 months, so definitely enough time to let the filtrate dry. In the meantime, I've made a lot of changes with my life, and I'm really happy. I joined a gym, started eating healthier, I bought a hat and some cool shades, so I'm feeling pretty good. So back to the murder mystery case. First, I found the mass of the filter paper with the filtrate turned out to be 0.9482 grams, but the mass of the filter paper without the filtrate was 0.8567 grams. So, the total mass of the filtrate turned out to be 0.0915 grams.
I was able to find that the mass of the precipitate, or the filtrate, as my lab technician has noted here on the board, was found to be 0.0915 grams. Therefore, it was found that we had 0.0915 grams of calcium carbonate, the precipitate. Using the molar mass, we divided 0.0915 grams of calcium carbonate by 100.09 grams mole, the molar mass, in order to determine the moles of calcium carbonate, which was 0.000914 moles. Therefore, using our trusty BCA chart, we're able to determine further molarities. Since it's a 1-to-1, using the balanced equation, we knew the stoichiometric ratio. It's a 1-to-1 ratio between calcium carbonate, our precipitate, and sodium carbonate, our murder weapon. Since there's 0.000914 moles of calcium carbonate, that means that it was reacted with 0.000914 moles of sodium carbonate. Therefore, since we know the moles and we know the volume, 2.5 milliliters, with which we reacted the calcium chloride at the beginning of the reaction, we can determine the molarity using our trusty equation, M equals N over L. Therefore, the molarity was found to be 0.00914 moles divided by 0.00025 liters, or 2.5 milliliters. Therefore, our molarity is 0.37 molarity. Detective, I don't know what this can be used for, but you must find out who this murderer is immediately! Oh wow, this is very interesting stuff. So it turns out that our murderer, based on the molarity found of the murder weapon by my trusty lab technician, it seems that the murderer is Miss Peacock. We must find her immediately. Ahoy, Miss Peacock. You're under arrest. No!
Miss Peacock, you have the right to remain silent.
Oh, boy.
Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Don't do that. I'm just a sweet, innocent girl. Please don't execute me.
Miss Peacock, you're going away for a long time.
No, it wasn't me, I swear.
No.
I didn't do it.
We got all the evidence we need, and I'm a great detective. I went to Harvard, Princeton, and Yale.
Yeah, well, I went to NCCS.
Get real, Miss Peacock.
No one cares about private school. Especially not NCCS.
It was a great school.
Miss Peacock. One thing's for sure. This case is another one solved by Detective Richard Dick Johnson III.
No, he didn't do it.
Disgusting, Phil.
This is precipitate.
Nick, you had it! You had it! That was so perfect! So perfect!
I will do it.
Questions. Okay. Mrs. Peacock, this is really...
Ooh, what's the matter?
I know, can I just ask you a few questions, ma'am?
Nice to meet you. Of course, anything for you.
I collapsed.
Any witnesses?
Excellent. We had book club together.
God, yo, you gotta.
Did you get that? Did you get that? Yes.
I was gonna say, wow, chemical reaction.
No! You don't do any of that. You're the lab technician. You mess a bunch of potato bugs.
Wait, so I don't do any calculations?
No!
I haven't seen her in quite a while. You can't cover us.
Know what you're laughing about, son? Well, I love telling stories. In fact, I'll tell you a story about when I was a detective.